Alright, so the previous video caused a lot of damage. I know this isn't a video that I'm being forced by Riot to make or anything. I just calmed down and I'm able to present two sides instead of just my own biased side. Like, let's see, I said the game would be easier. I mean, the jungle would be easier. That is true. It is going to be easier. However, the complexities will not. Like, whoever said right-clicking minions in the jungle was had any skill. There's no skill in farming the jungle. I mean, there was some, skill in managing it, like, your timing and making sure nobody stole it, but that's about it. Everything else, no. That's still gonna be hard. Counter jungling, I think I kind of went overboard saying that it's completely dead. It's changed. It is easier to do, but it still exists. And in order to do it successfully, you still gotta have some persistence in it. Let's see. Take an example of how it works right now. Riot said that there's more experience in the bigger mobs, like the Blue Wraith or the Big Brother Golem, and the Big Wolf. So if you steal one of those, then the enemy jungler is screwed, because not only does he have his healing rune stolen, but he now also has less experience. There's two sides to this. One, you can effectively just go in, get out, get it, and cripple him. But doesn't that just sound too easy? Like, if you just have to take this one mob, then that's a little too easy. Just take it and leave. Go take the next bigger one. Now the jungle scales per minute, so the more there's two things that will happen. If the enemy jungler knows this, the one who's counter jungling you, and he constantly puts pressure on you, eventually you're gonna fall apart, because the jungle's gonna scale perhaps too fast for you to keep up with it. This is what's going to keep some characters out. And that's why I said steroid junglers are going to be good, because they have natural bad damage boosters just with level. They have natural stats with level. This is why, though I may have said Trundle will fall apart, Trundle will still be strong, probably stronger than other champions here, because he's natural debuffer, natural tanky sustain guy. In any case, I'm getting a little too far, I should organize my thoughts a little. Counter jungling, easier. How to do it doesn't mean it's still gonna be easy to keep it up. Counter jungling now, you gotta be persistent. You gotta hit them, and you're gonna hit them again. You gotta force them out. Keep hitting them over and over. Here, you're still gonna have to do that. And while it may be easier to do, you still have to keep that persistence up. Ganking is still hard. And in fact, it's a lot scarier, because if you fail, you're behind. For the same reason I said, the jungle will scale. So if you mess up really badly, then time is going to be holding you back. Oh yeah, and back to the control jungling. I just forgot to mention. That's why last time I said duelists will be strong. If you force the enemy jungler off his camps, and you steal it, or you just beat him up and force him home, then you're adding more time to the game, and therefore the jungle minions are going to get stronger. So in a way, that is a form of counter jungling, making his job harder, making him cleared camps harder. So duelist counter jungling and Nunu are going to be strong. So counter jungling isn't dead, it's just going to be different, easier to do, still as hard to keep up, especially around warding and keeping them. I just woke up. Cut me some slack. If the jungle scales, then obviously counter jungling will get hard for you too. Especially since you're too busy counter jungling him, you're gonna fall behind, so you can't really farm your jungle anymore, because it's gonna get as strong as you. Ganking, we already passed that. There's no real explanation there. Farming. Now, here's an exaggeration I had, that all people will do is just farm. Well, yeah, theoretically, a jungler can just farm all day. Having talked with some people about this, like the odd one, he kind of agrees. Why would I bother ganking if I can just farm all day? even Saint Vicious recently said that the jungler's job isn't to gank, because more often than not, a gank is just to punish somebody for overextending someone's mistake. Not something you just go up and do, because most of the time it's just going to fail. Everyone plays too passively for a gank to work, which is why some junglers have way more success than others. Gangplank, because he can do it easily, or Maokai as of late, because that hard snare that you can't really flash out of because he's going to snipe you. Those types of junglers work, those types of ganks work. Otherwise, most junglers would prefer to, just farm. But why do some of them have to gank anyways? Because some lanes would just suck and die. Even now, it's common for, like, if you see a mismatch, like Heimerdinger versus LeBlanc, like we saw in the tournament. If it's a mismatch like that, even though LeBlanc is really hard to gank, your lane is going to need help. You're going to have to keep pressure off of him, and therefore you have to help gank. Otherwise, he's going to fall apart. In those times, you have to understand ahead of time, oh, this matchup is lopsided against my team. This person's going to need help. I have to help gank for him. I have to help keep pressure off of them instead of just farming my jungle. Alright, so that's why sometimes you have to gank. If it's heavily in the favor of your teammate, you may also want to gank to just bury the lane. Like, if it's Gangplank versus Garen, Gangplank beats Garen to a bloody pulp. In most cases, yeah. It's a good matchup for Gangplank. So if you were to gank Garen and Gangplank got a massive advantage, then that lane is as good as done. So that's the times you'd want to gank. Like, you'd try to focus on that. Like, oh, if we do this, this lane is secure. Boom. So while you may still be able to, while you may be able to farm indefinitely, you still should be able to look for those advantages or disadvantages. Second of all, even with the best matchup, or your teammate may have some mistake, he may have blown flash by accident, or he may have gone way over his head, or taken one or two turret shots more than he should have, something like that. And that's the case, you have to help alleviate some pressure. You have to help back them up or defend their lane. So therefore, you can't keep farming. In a perfect game where nobody's dying, then farming all day on your jungle is, viable. But that's all in theory. Farming forever is theory, but in practice, you're going to have to help your teammates. Plus, ganking bottom lane usually means game for that lane. So, and yeah. Now let's go to another thing. Oh, by making the jungle easier so lower level players can play and fail. Well, this is the one that even I was a little hesitant to want in the game, but it makes sense. How many of you would be happy with having a crappy fresh 30 trying out jungling in your games? Wouldn't be good. But if he were to try practicing the jungle before level 30, who cares? He's not level 30. He's not in ranked yet. It's not gonna depress people. Yeah, it's still gonna probably suck, but he would suck anyways with runes or masteries or anything. He still probably wouldn't be able to gank. Here at least you'll have some success and you'll learn some things. But there's one thing that most of us keep forgetting. What's more important than a person jungling is usually the person who's stuck laning 2v1 or stuck soloing. Like, they're gonna have to learn, here's a crash course. Your teammate's not gonna budge from jungling. Here's a crash course on 2v1. Go ahead, learn the ups and downs. So at least people learn both to jungle and both to solo lane 2v1 before they get to level 30, and that's gonna be important. And you guys know that's the truth. Alright. Now, champion choices. A lot of people are going, now Veigar will be able to jungle. No, jungle's not that weak. Don't get ahead of yourselves. The jungle is pretty strong still, in the terms of at least beating your ass. Sustained champions are going to be kings. Steroids are going to be good. Most of the strong junglers now are going to be even godlier. The thing is, you can go ahead and jungle your misfortunes or your Veigars. I mean, they'll be able to function, but not function in some modicum, but not too well. But if counter jungling is a lot more excessive, it can be a lot more stronger than it was before because of its ease and a lot of the experience being front loaded onto the bigger mobs. then you're gonna get run over by your Nunus and your Skarners and your Lee Sins. So go ahead and do that. Just because it's a bit easier doesn't mean anyone will be able to jungle. So even I exaggerated on that. Trundle will still be a god. Lee Sin will still be a god. You might see more junglers like Aurelia and Nasus, but no, the gods will still be there. Now, there's even one thing that I learned. The jungle remake I got to play is not the same as the one they're going to release. I mean, everything else is the same, but there's a slight tweak that I won't mention that actually made me very happy. And they realized, I helped with some information that made them realize that, yeah, they need just a little bit more boost here. So, I'm sort of content with it now. I mean, to be honest, one of the only reasons I was unhappy about it was mostly because some of the champions weren't going to be as special anymore, like Trundle. And it's kind of fun being able to bully people with your knowledge. Not I mean like, ha ha ha, I know how the jungle works, you don't. I mean more like in game. Like, say you see the Nocturne, like where he starts off, and then you jump him in his race as Shyvana and you get your first blood. And then you jump him again in a lizard. Stuff like that. It's gonna be a lot more random. But there is one thing. Level 2 games are probably not gonna, be worth it anymore. If you fail the level 2 game, you're probably gonna be behind a lot more. So, what else can there be to talk about? I'll just reiterate some of the things I said. Jungling is easier, but the intricacies of it still make it that you'll see a difference between the okay junglers, the strong junglers, and the master junglers. Because now you're going to have apparently decision. Decision is, like, should I gank now or should I keep farming? What Riot may be going, we made jungling harder because you have to have, this decision here. You're going to have to go... you're gonna have to make it up in your mind. Like the good junglers will know when it's time to gank. Most of the good junglers know that there's very, very little times you can actually gank in a real game. In tournament games, you see the passivity. Unless passivity in the game is changed, unless the gank opportunities become a lot more, obvious, since everybody just tends to hang back and farm, then ganking is rarely going to happen, and the new jungle just made it easier to ignore it. So, they maybe say, maybe in solo queue, ganking is still going to, jungling is going to be the whole, should I farm or gank? It's pretty much in the tournament scene, it's probably going to just be farm. So, that's just an illusion, and that's one thing I'd rather not them say. Contrary though, that it does have some merit, because now, since you have to farm, you're gonna have to come up on the whim. Oh, my team needs help. My team needs help really badly, and I want to keep farming. So you go off and do gank, fail or succeed, and now you gotta come up with what path to take now. Small golems are valuable, but my blue is up. Should I clear these and then to blue and then clear back down, or should I go shop? The choices aren't as complex as they're making them out to be, but there will be some choice in it. I think the jungle's going to be relatively the same. I mean, the same as it's been now. I mean, yeah, they keep mentioning this downtime. Once you cleared your jungle, there's either you gank or you go shop. Yeah, but by the time you shop, and you will get back to your next creeps and then you farm the small camps again, then you can go beat up the enemy jungler. Yeah, I really have nothing else to say about that. I just wish they wouldn't say, they wouldn't push out this illusion of choice, because there's rarely a choice in, a serious game. There's rarely that time where you'll go, I can gank him, I'm gonna come gank top. Or shit, yeah, you saw Saint Vicious in one of those games go, I'm gonna gank top, but it usually won't work out in a tournament game, unless all the chess pieces are together. I don't know where I'm going with this. All right, AOE junglers. People keep going, AOE junglers are gonna be gods. I've said this already, that AoE junglers are not going to be godlike. They're going to be a lot stronger, and some of them are stronger than the single target ones, but there are measures taken so they won't just tear the jungle to pieces. There is an AoE damage reduction. They know about this. This has been tested. Don't think Riot's going to be just stupid about that. Any of those things you quick to jump to, oh, AoE junglers are going to be fast. No, like that was already known. That was already set a precaution for you. And Udyr's not going to destroy the jungle. He is pretty goddamn fast. I mean, even with these measures taken, but it isn't so much so that it was when Jungle Annie was viable and scary. In any case, let's just to sum it up. There will still be jungle niche champions. There will be a little bit more, but overall, the sanctity of like Trundle and Lee Sin and Nocturne is still there. The jungle is easier to make work. The complexities of it, such as ganking and invasion, are still going to be there, and they're still going to be just as hard. Well, except counter jungling, that's kind of easier when you come to steel camps. Dueling is still a hard one. It will hopefully achieve its goal of making the game less passive, but we'll see about that. The Riot does have multiple buttons they can press just in case anything goes wrong, so have faith in them.